So, good morning again. We will continue our discussion today on ant colony optimization algorithms. Yesterday, I have introduced you what is swarm intelligence or swarm algorithms. What are swarm algorithms? So, basically, we have seen that these swarm algorithms or the swarm intelligence, they are inspired from the collective behavior, and this collective behavior of some of the species that has led to some highly successful optimization algorithms. So one of that algorithm we are going to discuss in our unit number 4, that is ant colony optimization algorithms. So similar to this, you will find out behavior of other organisms like termites, fish, or some birds that comes under particle swarm optimization, but we will be concentrating specifically on ant colony optimization algorithm. So basically ant colony optimization algorithm, we saw that it's a way of solving optimization type of problems uh, by using the behavior of ants, where these ants indirectly communicate directions to each other. So we have seen yesterday that one specific type of ant, that is Lasius niger, uh, about them Frank in 89 has observed some of the behavioral features, like these ants, Lasius niger ants, they regulate the nest temperature within 1 degree Celsius, or they form bridges, or they raid specific areas of food. Similarly, they build and protect their nest. Also, they sort brood and food items. They cooperate uh, to carry large items. They cooperate with each other, and in spite of their small in size, they can carry very large objects. Similarly, their colonies, these ants, they live in colonies. These ants, they immigrate from one place to the other place. Frank has also observed that there are almost uh, 10,000, around more than 10,000 ants in one specific ant colony. There is a queen which controls the behavior of whole colony. Another important observation from our algorithm point of view, that they find shortest route from their nest to the food source. Okay. Similarly, preferentially, sometimes they exploit the richest food source available. So if there are multiple options available, they generally prefer the richest food source. Okay. So these are some of the observations that Frank has presented in his paper. Now these observations have been used, and we have seen that uh, Marco Dongo in 1992, in his PhD thesis, first time he proposed this ant colony optimization algorithm. Italian researcher Marco Dongo. The first version of this ant colony optimization, he called that as ant systems. Okay. So from this, we have also come to the conclusion that they use stigmergy, The basic concept is stigmergy. So basically stigmergy is what? Indirect communication via interaction with the environment. We call that as stigmergy. So basically they use semi behavior as I told you. So specifically the meaning of that is that they use sign based language or mark sign or mark based stigmergy you can call it. Sign language is called as stigmergy specifically. Now how ants they do that? That also we have discussed yesterday, that their sign language is, their communication is through what? A chemical called as pheromone. So whenever these ants they move from one place to the other place, they lay trails of pheromone, and that trail is followed by other ants. Okay, so uh, we have seen this with this diagram. This is how the ant behavior I have explained yesterday, that on the left hand side if we have a nest, this is a nest, and on the right hand side if there is a suppose food. So ant moves from nest to the food source. Initially they move randomly, and some of the ants they may fortunate enough to reach the food source, and then these ants they carry that food to their nest with different paths. So some of the ants they will follow shorter path, some of the ants they may follow longer path, because whenever that ant reach to the food source, they might have laid down pheromone on their path. So they will follow the same path while going back to their nest, depending upon the concentration of pheromone. Okay. So may not be, some of the ants may not be following the same path which they have taken while coming from nest to the food source. Okay. So basically from our point of view, the stigmergy behavior, that is specifically sign language, means in ant behavior lay down of pheromone. So that has been used to find out the shortest path. That's what we have discussed yesterday. And how they do that, as we have seen, that if suppose this is the initial situation, and if we suppose keep obstacle in between this is obstacle. This is in figure number 2. Come to this. So obstacle has been less. So what will happen? Some of the ants from this side they will follow this path. Some of the ants they will follow this path. Ants coming from food source to the nest, some of them will follow this path. Some of them will follow this path. So what will happen after some time? Come to the figure number 3. That the ants which have taken this particular path, this downside path, out there the concentration of pheromone will be more, right? Here, why? Because this distance is smaller distance as compared to this distance. So since this is smaller, many of the ants they will go to the nest quickly, or from nest to the food quickly. So more trips they are going to make as compared to the ants which were traveling from this side, upper side. So what will happen because of that? After some time you will find out concentration of pheromone will be more on this side. Okay. So after some time if you observe this, all of the ants they will be following this particular path. Okay. So that is how these ants they find out the shorter path or shortest path in spite of being almost blind. So individual ants lay pheromone trails while traveling from nest to the food source as well as from food source to the nest in both directions. Now another important observation which uh, yesterday we stopped at that point that has been observed regarding behavior of ants, that is this pheromone trail gradually evaporates over the time. Okay, this laid down pheromone, it will not, its concentration will not be as it is. After some time it evaporates. But this pheromone trail strength accumulate with multiple ants using that particular path. But over a period of time, since multiple ants, they will move uh, from nest to the food source, from food to the nest. So concentration of pheromone will increase. So strength will increase, and therefore ants they follow generally uh, the shortest path. Okay. So up to this point, is that concept clear? Any question?
No, sir.
So basically what we have to understand at this point, that in this ant colony optimization algorithm, the concept of stigmergy is used, which is a semiotic behavior. So some sign language is used, which is used by ants when they travel from nest to the food source, and that is through the chemical that they lay down on the ground, that is uh, pheromone. So ants they follow the path where pheromone concentration is more. So uh, although it looks simple, but you will find out this particular behavior has led to uh, important uh, feature which is interesting from our point of view in terms of uh, developing an algorithm, that is ultimately they are able to find out the shortest path. Okay. So initially these ants they perform random walk, as we have seen yesterday, that using random walks and pheromone within the ground. So initially they will be performing random walk, they will be moving randomly, but some of the ants they are able to reach to the food source. So those ants who have reached to the food source, they will carry that food to the nest, again laying down the pheromone. Okay, so by that the concentration of pheromone increases. So number of ants through the shorter paths traveling from nest to the food or food to the nest will be more. So there will be more pheromone concentration. So therefore later on, although that ant might have reached to the food source from longer path, but while going back to the nest, ant will take shorter path because here the pheromone concentration will be more. Okay. So for that purpose, now we will continue further. Experiment has been carried out, and that experiment is called as double bridge experiment. Actually, Dinberg, uh, he has carried out that particular experiment, and they have verified, Tinberg and colleagues, they have verified that these pheromone markings made by ants, markings of ants, by experience, popularly that is known as double bridge experiment. Now what they have done in double bridge experiment, a nest of a colony of Argentine ants, this is one of the species, is connected to the food source by two bridges. Okay, in this way. On the left hand side, what they have done, there was a nest, and right hand side there was a food source. And what they have done, they have connected this nest and food source by two bridges. So this is one bridge, okay, and this is another bridge. Now the ants can reach to the food source and return to the nest by using any of these two bridges. Okay, their objective was to carry out this particular experience, that to observe the resulting behavior of the colony. So what they have observed after conducting that particular experiment, that the if the bridges have same length, that is the case in this first figure. If you see this length of this bridge 1, suppose I call it B1 and this is B2. So length of B1 is equal to length of B2. So if this is the case, if the bridges they have same length, the ant tend to converge towards one of the two bridges. If this experiment is repeated number of times, it is observed that each of the two bridges is used about half of the cases. So what has they have observed, that if length of these two bridges B1 and B2, if it is same, then half of the ants they have traveled through this path and half of the ants they have traveled through this path. Okay, so there is a 50% probability of taking one of these two paths because bridge lengths were equal. Okay. The fact is, while moving ants they deposit pheromone, and we have also seen this, and whenever they have to decide which path they should follow, their choice is based on higher pheromone concentration. So higher therefore will be the probability to follow that particular path. Okay. Now they have changed the construction. What they have done in second experiment, they have made this length of B1 different from length of B2. So in second case, length of B1 was less than length of B2. So length of bridge B2 was more as compared to length of bridge B1. So what has happened? They found that this bridge B1 has been used by all of the ants after some time. Initially, some of the ants they were diverted to this side, some of the ants to bridge B1. Okay, but after some time it is found that all ants they have followed this particular path because length is smaller. Now how it is so? Because although some of the ants they have traveled through this B2, once they reach to this food source and carry food, they will find out that here the concentration of pheromone is more. Why? Because the ants who have traveled through bridge B1, they reach to this food source early as compared to the ants which are traveled through the B2. Since ants who have traveled through B1, they have reached to the food source early, of course they will reach to the nest again early, so they will reach out there with the nest with the same path, So here concentration will be more as compared to this. So therefore the other ants who have traveled through this B2, they will also take this path after some time. So therefore here the concentration of pheromone will be more at B1. So if branches have different length, ants they follow the shorter path or shorter breach. Okay. So this confirms that ants they follow the shortest path. This experiment is called as double breach experiment. Now let us put this in the form of an algorithm. What we have to do, we will have to convert this ants behavior, their stigmatic stigmergy behavior or semiotic behavior in the form of algorithm, so that we can solve some of the optimization type of problems like traveling salesman problem, where actually we are interested in finding out the shortest path. Now before going to the algorithm, let us first understand how to simulate this pheromone, right? That is important because that is how the real behavior is. But ultimately whenever we talk about an algorithm, we should convert that into some model, mathematical model. Without that you will not be able to write a code, you will not, computer will not be able to process it. So how to simulate this pheromone? So what we are going to do here, we are going to define a parameter tau. This tau will define pheromone. What is tau? Tau will define pheromone. Okay. So we are interested in, now ants they will follow the path where pheromone concentration is more. So how to find out this uh, pheromone now, this tau? So what we can do, we can define this change in pheromone, that is delta tau, from place I to place J, okay, by kth ant. So therefore small k here, that is equal to, we will define that as 1 upon Lk. So what is L? L is the length of the edge traveled by kth ant. Okay. So let us understand what does this mean. Concentration or change in pheromone, concentration of pheromone is equal to 1 upon the length, that is inversely proportional to the length. So if length is more, tau will be small. If length is small, tau will be more, because 1 upon L value. Okay. Why this is so? The reason is, if the path is shorter, as we have seen earlier, there will be more pheromone concentration. So to simulate this, we have defined a term 1 upon L. So if length is more, we will define it here. If this length is more, then tau will be smaller. If length is smaller, then more ants will follow that path. So concentration of pheromone will be higher. Okay. So we can define it in this way more correctly. Change in pheromone from node I to node J, or from place I to place J, by kth ant is equal to 1 upon Lk, where L is the of distance between what? I and j traveled by kth ant. So that is equivalent to that kth ant travels on the edge ik. Otherwise it is 0. If ants do not travel, then concentration of pheromone will be 0. Understood up to this point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What we are trying to do? We are trying to simulate ants behavior. So we are trying to simulate pheromone, because whenever we talk about an algorithm, if you have to write a program, uh, then you will have to convert this in the form of mathematical model, whatever we have discussed ants behavior. So let us continue with this. This is equivalent to this tau from I to j by kth ant. So pheromone on edge ij by kth ant. How to find out it? It will be summation of all. If there are suppose m ants, so I will vary this k from 1 to m. Okay, what is k here? What is k?
Number of ants.
Not number of ant, kth ant. Okay, kth ant, specific ant k traveled from I to j, right? And k. Suppose third ant, so k will be 3 there. Suppose 10th ant, so k will be 10. Okay, so total pheromone, if you have to find out, laid down by all ants will be, yes, you will have to add all those pheromones. So therefore what we will do, we will take sum of all of them. So k will vary from 1 to m. What is m out here? This m is number of
Number
ants.
of ants.
Right, number of ants. So summation of what? This delta tau ij, delta tau ij for k ant. ठीक है? Understood up to this point? This is new equation. So this equation gives us pheromone laid down by all m ants. What is left over? Anybody? What is required now? We are trying to simulate pheromone. So total pheromone we have seen, that is summation of all delta tau ij, where this tau ij is 1 upon Lk. So if distance is less, there will be more pheromone. If distance is more, less, because it is inversely proportional. You can see out here, this tau is inversely proportional to L. Sorry, inversely proportional, na? 1 upon L.
1
It is
upon
proportional to 1 upon L. ठीक है? So what is left now? Something else is required other than this to find out total pheromone. Okay, I will give you an hint. Uh, you might have observed that if there are ants from their nest to the food source, And suppose that food source is a sugar, one piece of sugar, okay, and if you remove that particular food, for example that sugar piece, what happens after some time? Again I am repeating, uh, let us recall the situation. There is a row of ants from their nest to the food source, and food source is sugar laying down on your, for example, uh, gas stove, near the gas stove. So you will find out suddenly there will be a huge number of ants coming to the sugar, and if suppose you remove that sugar, what will happen?
Ant will scatter.
After that,
They will disappear.
right, that row you will find out there will be no ants. Just after 3 4 minutes you will find out there will be not a single ant. That is because one of the observation I told you, that this pheromone that evaporates after some time. Okay. So since that pheromone evaporates, the ants which are near to that place, now they will not able to smell that pheromone. Okay. So they will not move along with that path. So they will move towards the path where there is more pheromone. So since that pheromone has evaporated, all of the ants suddenly you find out they disappear. So that evaporation you have to incorporate while finding out this tau. So therefore, again you can continue to find out more correct value of pheromone. So therefore, tau ij by kth ant, all k ants will be equal to 1 minus rho multiplied by tau ij plus whatever we have seen out here, summation of delta tau ij of kth ant, where k is varying from 1 to m. So we have modified this equation. What we have done out here, we have introduced a parameter called as rho. What is this rho? This rho is defining evaporation rate. Evaporation rate. So the rate at which that pheromone will evaporate. So if this rho is suppose more, what will happen? Value of rho is more. So what will be the value of rho first before that? Rho will be between 0 to 1. Right? Value of rho is between 0 to 1. So if value of rho is high, what is meaning of that? If evaporation rate is high, what will happen? Yes. If rho is more, then more means, for example, if it is 0.95. So means what? If evaporation rate is very high, means
Pheromone is less.
uh, it will be less. Correct. If rho is small, so in that case evaporation rate will be small, and if evaporation rate is less, means what? There will be more pheromone. So therefore, to now model this in mathematical form, what we have done out here, you will see that we have introduced a term 1 minus rho here and multiplied that with tau ij. So if suppose rho is high, that means rho is suppose 1. So what will happen? This value will be 1. Okay. So 1 minus 1, 0. So whole this term will be 0 in that case. So therefore your tau ij is equal to summation of tau ij k. So if rho is very high, this term will become 0. So therefore value of tau will be less. If rho is small, for example, take the value of rho 0.1. So what will happen because of this? 1 minus zero point 0.1, this term will become 1 minus zero point 0.1. So this is what? 0.9. Okay, so 0.9 multiplied by tau ij, that is earlier concentration of pheromone. So that will be some value, and you are going to add, you are going to multiply that with 0.9. So that will return some value. You are going to add that with this particular term. So you will find out if rho is small, so you are adding pheromone, and if rho is high, so the amount with which you are adding pheromone, that will be less. Other extreme, if rho is suppose 0, so this tau ij value will be more, this term will have more value, so there will be more total pheromone. If it is high, that is at one extreme, that is 1, so this term will be 0. So immediately after laying down that pheromone, it will evaporate. Okay, so that is how we have introduced this parameter rho, which is a evaporation rate. So value of tau, that is concentration of pheromone, is summation delta tau ij. This is without evaporation. This is okay. Let us put it out there. This value of tau, this we have defined, that is without evaporation. And same equation we have modified out here. This here we have introduced a term rho, which is a evaporation constant, whose value will be between 0 to 1, and that will give you value of tau, that is this value returned by multiplying 1 minus rho with initial concentration of pheromone multiplied by the pheromone laid down by earlier ends. Okay, so this is tau with evaporation. Okay, any question up to this? Understood that concept? That is the heart of this algorithm. Any question on this? Apurva, Mahajana Purva. Purva. Mangesh. Mangesh Rakhonde. Tushar.
Yes, sir.
Understood how that formula has come, tau formula, finding out pheromone.
Yes, sir.
Because that is heart of this algorithm. Again, I am repeating that this tau defines your pheromone. Tau ij means what? Path from I
Pheromone.
to j, right? Path from I to j. Raised to k means kth hand. This is what? First define delta, change in pheromone by kth ant when that ant move from I to j is 1 upon
1 upon LK.
distance traveled by that ant, 1 upon Lk. Okay, so that is inversely proportional. So it is 1 upon Lk, otherwise it is 0. If kth ant travel from I to j, delta tau is 1 upon Lk, otherwise it is 0. So therefore, you can find out tau ij for k ants, all k ants. That is, you have to add all pheromone laid down by all those k ants. So k is varying from m 1 to m. That is, if there are m ants, delta tau ij of k. So this equation is equivalent to delta ij tau 1 delta ij tau 2 plus delta tau ij, not delta ij, tau ij up to delta tau ij raised to m if there are m ends. Okay. This is without evaporation, but we know that pheromone that evaporates. So therefore we have modified this equation as tau ij is equal to 1 minus rho multiplied by tau ij plus the other term as it is, I is varying from 1 to m delta tau ij k, where rho is,
Yeah. Sir,
yes, yes,
summation K equals to 1 to M.
sorry, correct, summation k is equal to 1 to m, right. I is your node, so k is defining ant. Okay, so this rho is evaporation constant whose value is between 0 to 1. So evaporation rate should not be very high there, as well as it should not be too small. If it is very high, what will happen? If rho is very high value, what will happen?
Pheromone is low.
Pheromone pheromone, yes,
is low.
is low, means what will happen ultimately? Because of that, what will be the effect on behavior of ants? If it is very high, immediately it will evaporate. So what will happen?
And disappear earlier.
Pardon?
Ants are disappear earlier.
Ants?
Disappear earlier.
Uh, in more correct words, what will happen because of, suppose this ant is traveling, okay, so this path, and ant has reached out here, and I said that pheromone that evaporates, okay, so immediately this will disappear, pheromone. Now that ant has to come back. So this ant will not be able to find out here pheromone. So ant will not go by that path. Okay. So therefore ultimately ant, they will not be able to find out shorter path. They will not be able to trace their path. So if evaporation rate is high, it will evaporate immediately. If it evaporates, ants will not be able to find out the shorter path, because this term will become 0, and amount of pheromone will be delta tau ij. So last pheromone trail only, and that too will evaporate immediately. If it is too small, what will happen? If rho is very small, what will be the effect of that? Pardon? Not audible. So this
And
term,
able to find the shorter path.
this term will be high in that case, value will be high. So total pheromone concentration will be very high. There will be one side effect because of that. If that pheromone value is very small, it will be there forever most of the time. And if suppose that food source out here, there is a food source, that food source is depleted, or all the food that ants they have carried to their nest, and there is no food out here, but still there will be a lot of pheromone on this trail, okay. So what will happen because of that? Ants, they will be unnecessarily traveling to this particular path. There is no food because it is lying there. That evaporation rate is very small, almost near to 0. So lot of pheromone will be there. Ants will come out here. There is no food source, and after some time you will find out ants will be there without food source. Most of the ants will be traveling aimlessly, because there is a pheromone there are pheromone trails, okay. So therefore that rate should not be too small, it should not be too high. So I assume that now it is clear. Now let us see this flow chart. which defines this ant colony optimization algorithm. So initially, first step is you have to initialize all the parameters. Then start first iteration. Select one ant. Move that ant randomly to the selected node. Randomly we are saying through the available paths. Calculate its cost. Update the local pheromone trail. If it is a last ant, then you will terminate the algorithm. But before that, if it is not a last ant, again you will select another ant. You are going to move it randomly, calculate the cost, update the local pheromone trail. If it is the last ant, then get the best solution from above iterations. That means best solution means the path on which there is more pheromone. Update a global pheromone. If it's a last iteration, get the best solution. If it is not last iteration, again start the new iteration. So that is how in general this algorithm works. Again I am repeating. You will be iterating through the number of iterations. We have seen uh, how to terminate this algorithm. We'll come to that afterwards. So whenever you are going to start an iteration, you have to execute this on all the ants. So this is equivalent to global pheromone trail updating. You are going to select one ant, move it randomly, calculate the cost, update the local trail, pheromone trail. Then second ant, third ant, fourth ant. So you will find out all n, suppose there are m ants. If all these m ants they have moved, so where there is the shorter path out there, pheromone will be more. Then get the best, update the global trail, global pheromone level. Then second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration. If it's the last iteration, return the best solution. That is how this algorithm in general works. So you might have observed out here, there are two major steps that you will have to carry out in this algorithm. One is uh, you have to update pheromone at two levels. One is local, at local level, and another one is at global level. Okay. Uh, Let us come to now the actual algorithm. These ants are driven by a probability rule to choose their solution to the problem. That we are going to call that as a tour. So to define that tour, you are going to use a probability rule. Why you need this? Because of this you will be able to find out where that ant will go. So you are going to model that mathematically as by defining a probability that that ant will go from I to j. Suppose this is node I and this is node j. What is the probability that ant will move from I to j? Because there might be some other node out here. Okay, this is k. So what is the probability that ant will move from I to j? What is the probability that ant will move from I to k? So this probability will define how that ant will move. So on what factor this probability will be dependent then? How ant will decide whether that ant should go to j or k? Yes. Ant at some place I. Now already we have discussed how you are going to model this behavior of ants. So now while putting this in the form of algorithm, we must define a probability at a particular node. So that probability will you can use, or it will define which path to follow. If probability is more, then you are going to follow that particular path. So on what factor? Now suppose ant is at node I. Here there is ant. So what is the probability that, or on what factor that probability depends that I will move from I to J?
Concentration of ants.
Concentration of
Ants.
ants? No. Concentration.
Computational foramen.
Right. Concentration of foramen. So therefore we are going to define this probability P as a function of two parameters. One is tau and another one is eta. So this probability P is a function of tau as well as eta. What is tau? Tau is concentration of pheromone and eta is inverse of the distance between the nodes. Okay. So therefore we are going to use this formula. The probability rule between two nodes I and j, this is called as pseudo-random proportional acceptance. So this probability is a function of this probability is a function of tau and eta, where tau is concentration of pheromone and eta is what? Inverse of distance between the two nodes. Okay. So therefore we have this formula, probability of that ant moving from node I to node j is equal to tau ij raised to alpha eta ij raised to beta, okay, divided by summation tau ij raised to alpha and tau ij raised to beta. This summation is to the denominator. I have made a mistake out here. It should be here. Okay. H belonging to S. So probability of moving from node I to node J is a function of concentration of pheromone multiplied by this eta, which is a function of distance between the two nodes. Suppose this distance is 20. So eta value will be 1 upon 20. It is inversely proportional. Okay. So if distance is more, value of eta will be less. If distance is less, value of eta will be more. Yes or no? Understood this equation? Anand, Jangir.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Understood how to define probability of moving from place I to place J.
Yes, sir.
So basically, probability of moving from I to J will be more if there is more pheromone and if that node is closer to node I. Okay, on these two factors. So therefore, this eta is also called as visibility parameter. This eta defines visibility. Visibility will be more if value of eta is smaller. Sorry, distance between the two nodes is smaller. So visibility will be less if that node is far away. Okay. So suppose there is one more node here, out here, that is node L. Distance between I and J is 20. I and K is 18 and I and L is, this is L, I and L is suppose 10. So what will be the value of eta? Eta from I to J, eta from I to K and eta from I to L. Yes, eta from I to J, what will be value?
1 upon 20.
1 upon
20.
20, correct. Eta ik is
1 upon 18.
barobar, right, 1 upon 18 and eta il is
1/10.
1
1 upon 10.
upon 10.
correct. So which value is larger?
1 upon 10.
1 upon 10 is larger. This value
1
is more.
upon.
Okay. Eta, this value is more when distance is smaller. Distance is small, eta is high. If distance is more, eta is less. Okay. So if eta is less, probability will be less because you are these two terms. If eta is high, probability will be higher. So if visibility is more, when visibility will be more, nodes are closer. If node is closer, visibility will be more. So that will increase the probability, right? So probability will be high if pheromone is more as well as node is nearer. Visibility is more. Understood? So ant will go to the node which is more close and concentration is higher. Pheromone concentration is higher. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now from this, now we come to know that these ants, all of them, they will modify this environment in two different ways. One is local trail updating and another one is global trail updating. So one step we have seen in the algorithm, that how ant will select a particular path. Now two more important steps in this algorithm we will have to understand. Ants, they modify their environment in two ways. One, they perform local pheromone trail updating and another one is global pheromone trail updating. So how to mathematically define both of them? So let us first here define how you are going to update local trail. So as we have seen that ant moves between nodes and it updates amount of pheromone by the equation. Now let us put that in the equation form, that tau ij at time t is equal to, that means amount of pheromone at time t is equal to 1 minus rho into tau ij. Already we have seen this rho is what? Evaporation constant. Tau ij is what? Concentration of pheromone between node I and node j. Multiply this tau ij at time t minus 1. So pheromone at time t is dependent on pheromone at time t minus 1, but multiplied by a parameter 1 minus rho, that is evaporation parameter. So what this term is defining now, concentration of pheromone now depends upon concentration of pheromone before, that means how much it was before this time, multiplied by 1 minus rho. So that depends upon if evaporation is high, then this will decrease because you are multiplying that with that value. If evaporation rate is less, then the total value of this term will be higher, plus rho multiplied by tau 0. What is tau 0? Initial value of pheromone trail at time 0. Tau 0 is initially what pheromone was at time 0, multiplied by rho, because rho should be there. If it is evaporating fast, so this will also decrease. If it is evaporating as low rate, then this value will be little bit higher. So this equation tau ij at time t is equal to tau ij at time t minus 1, but that depends upon what is the pheromone evaporation rate, that is 1 minus rho, multiply that with 1 minus rho and initial volume of pheromone. Okay, this tau 0 depends on how to calculate this. Tau 0 is n upon ln whole this term minus 1. What is n? N defines number of nodes, total number of nodes, because you have to find out initial volume of pheromone. So that depends upon number of nodes and edges, like, so n defines number of nodes divided by ln. What is this ln? Total distance covered between the nodes. Total distance covered. For example, if there are 3 nodes, if this distance is suppose 7, this is 9 and this is 2. So total distance covered between total nodes, how many? N is equal to what? Here n is equal to now 3, and ln is what? Total distance covered, that is 9 plus 2, 11 plus 7, 18. So ln will be 18. So this value will be 3 by 18 minus 1. Okay, so initial volume of pheromone will be high if number of nodes are more, because if number of nodes are more, number of edges will be more. But if distance between all of them is higher, so you are dividing that with number of nodes, so that value will decrease by that amount, because ants will travel all around. Okay, so therefore this tau 0, which is defining initial concentration of pheromone, we can calculate by n upon ln, where n is number of nodes and ln is total distance covered by all these nodes minus 1. Okay, So this is how you are going to update the local trail. So this equation is similar to this equation as we have discussed earlier. Okay, I have removed that equation. Here I wrote that equation. Tau ij uh, k is equal to, yes, we have defined it earlier, 1 minus rho tau ij plus summation 1k delta tau ij k. Same equation, form is same, right? 1 minus rho tau ij plus, here we have initial, because we are performing local update, na? So therefore rho multiplied by tau 0. Understood up to this? How to find out concentration of pheromone? So basically concentration of pheromone is your earlier pheromone plus initial value of pheromone. Simple. This equation you can remember in this way, that this tau ij at time t is equal to tau ij at time t minus 1 earlier concentration of pheromone plus initial pheromone. Okay, but evaporation is there, so therefore you will have to multiply this with 1 minus rho and this with rho. Same thing. So volume of pheromone is equal to how much pheromone earlier there was plus initially how much pheromone was lying there. So that initial pheromone depends upon number of nodes divided by the distance covered by all these nodes. So if number of nodes are more, tau 0 will be more. If their distance, if they are far away from each other, then tau 0 value will decrease, because the ants will require more time to travel to those nodes. So less pheromone will be there. Okay. So that's how that nicely simulates initial volume of pheromone tau 0 tau. Any question on this local trail updating? If there is no question, we will move to second part in this update process, global trail updating. So let us go back to the flowchart. Here in this part we are performing local pheromone update, and in this part of this algorithm we are performing global update. Okay. So local update just now we have seen. Now what is global trail updating? When all ants have completed all the nodes that find the shortest path. Okay, all ants, they have visited all the nodes which has ultimately lead to finding a shortest path updates. Ultimately they converge to the single path, and ultimately the concentration of pheromone on that path will be calculated by this particular equation. So same as that of previous equation, little bit small change is there. This value at t, tau value at t is equal to tau value at t minus 1 multiplied by 1 minus rho, as it is. This equation is, this part of the equation, this term is similar to the previous equation, plus rho. Earlier it was tau 0, but now in global update it is 1 upon L plus, rho upon L plus. Now what is this L plus? This L plus is the length of best path generated by one of the ants. Okay. So therefore, value of this L plus will be less. If it is less, then this term will have higher value. So if this length is smaller, because L plus is defining the length, if length is small, length of the base path generated is small, value of this second term will be high, because that term is at the denominator, and at the numerator we have rho, that is evaporation constant. So if evaporation constant is high and if length is small, in that particular case value of this second term will be high. But evaporation constant is a constant value, it will not change once you define it. If this length increases, this value of second term will decrease. So if L plus is high, that means length is high, then this term, total term, value of this term, if this length is high, value of that term will be less, low, right? If L plus is, that means length of that base path is less, so more concentration will be there, so this term will be higher. Let us come to the example. Suppose here there is a nest and here there is a food source. So initially what will happen, now in between that there are other nodes also, other places also. So ants will move around. Okay. So whenever these ants will move, they will lay down pheromone. So that laid down pheromone along with different paths. Ultimately, see here. Let me take some other color. Now one of the ant will travel from this path, come to this place, come to this food source. So that will also lay down the pheromone. So that path covered by that ant, that concentration of pheromone, that will be local value, local update you are going to perform. Okay. Some other ant, that ant will travel through this path again, that value again, this tau value, local update. Okay. Now after some time you will find out that many of the ants, they have taken a path which is a shorter path. For example, this path is shorter path. So more ants will travel through this, because since path is short, they will quickly go to the nest, come back, go to the nest, come back, as compared to other paths. So the concentration of pheromone that you are calculating in one iteration by for this particular tour, that is local update. After some time you are going to perform global update. More ants, they will follow a particular path which is shorter, and that value of concentration of pheromone on that base path you are going to update, algorithm is going to update by this global trail updating equation. ठीक है? So Ultimately, then algorithm will return the best path. Okay, so these are the three important steps in this ant colony optimization algorithm. First is, whenever ant is at a particular point, for example, ant is here, suppose, then what is the probability that ant will move through this path or by this or by this? There are three different ways. So how this probability will be defined? If probability is more, ant will take that path. So this probability we have defined by this equation. Pij is equal to tau ij multiplied by eta ij divided by, okay, tau ij eta ij, okay. So with this equation you are going to define probability which path ant will take. So which path ant will take, because this probability is a function of tau and eta. Eta is visibility parameter. If node is nearer, visibility will be nearer because distance will be less, because this is 1 upon L. Yeah. Tau, concentration of pheromone, we have seen how to calculate it. So probability will be more if tau is more and visibility is high. Then we have seen how to perform local trail update and global trail update. When you are going to perform global trail update, algorithm will return the best path. Okay. So these are some of the applications of this traveling ant colony optimization algorithm. One of the commonly discussed application is how to use that for traveling salesman problem. Nicely you can use it successfully for solving TSP type of problems. This you take this for the homework, that use this ACO ant colony optimization algorithm for solving traveling salesman problem. Take that as an assignment. What we have to do, first we have to define cities. How many cities are there? For example, number of cities are A, B, C, D and E. So first we have to define their distances. Okay, so that you are going to define with a matrix this way. So what will be distance between city A and A? TSP problem.
0.
Correct. So this diagonal elements will be 0. If distance between A and B is 11, so here there will be 11. B to A will be again 11. Symmetric matrix will be symmetric matrix. Okay. Distance from city A to C is suppose 7. So A to C, C to A will be 7. In this way, this matrix will be given to you in traveling salesman problem. Now you will have to solve this problem with ant colony optimization algorithm. So you can put it in the form of graph now. Suppose this is city A, city B, city C, D and suppose city E. Something like this. Distances are given. A to B is 11. A to C is suppose 7. In this way, distances will be given to you. Now what, while solving this problem with ant colony optimization technique, what you will have to do now? Then you will have to find out pheromone. Okay, so what you will have to do, initial concentration of pheromone will be there. For simplicity, suppose only there are four nodes, four cities are there, suppose. Just I will give you an hint. A, B, C and D. They are connected. Suppose A to B is 10, A to C is 10, A to D is 30, B to C is 40. Figure is not according to the scale. C to D is 20 and B to D is suppose B to D, 4. So how you are going to tackle? Suppose ant is now start with one ant. Ant is now at C, city C, and has a tour memory BC. So same city should not be visited. Okay. So ant should not visit B and C because that is the requirement in traveling salesman problem. And based on pheromone strength, ant will decide now whether to go to A or D. So if starting city is C, suppose already or starting city is B, suppose not C. So already you have visited from B to C, and from C now you are deciding what to do. So you cannot visit B again. So there are two options, either you can go to A or D, and can go to A or D. So on what basis that decision will be made? So that will be defined by a probability. You will have to define what is the probability that ant will move from C to A, and what is the probability that ant will move from C to D. So that probability we have seen, C to A will be function of tau eta summation tau and eta. So we will have to find out tau and eta. Eta is visibility parameter. What will be eta for this PCA?
1/10.
1/10.
Correct.
One
Eta will
upon
be
10.
1 upon 9. So if distance is smaller, eta will be higher. If distance is more, eta will be lesser. So in this way, you are going to proceed further. Just a minute. Hello. हॅलो बोला कोण बघावं लागेल सांगू हो हो चालेल हॅलो हुसेन दिस इज अवेलेबल okay sorry let us continue so in this way now you are going to proceed so suppose probability of going to A is more so this node will be selected to visit next so in the memory now CA path will be there so you cannot visit C again okay from A B also visited earlier that was in memory so next node to be visited will be D so in this way algorithm will proceed so it's a interesting assignment you try to solve this traveling salesman problem. Take very simple case with uh, ant colony optimization algorithm. Okay. Okay, we will make that as an assignment, and later on we will. I will give you a problem, well form problem for this assignment. So you will understand this algorithm in better way. Then second type of application for this in colony optimization, quadratic assignment problems. Let us find out what these applications are from the literature. You go through the literature and find out what is the quadratic assignment problem, vehicle routing problem, graph coloring problem. Graph coloring you might be knowing. Uh, do you know graph coloring problem? No two adjacent nodes should have same color in a graph. In algorithms you might have studied this. Yes. Graph coloring problem, do you know?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
So basically that problem is also a challenging problem. You might have realized that while discussing that in algorithms, because many solutions are there. It's optimization kind of problem. So how to you can try that with a graph and colony optimization. Then sequential ordering of objects, job shop scheduling. Generally in industry, such a scheduling is required. Then routing in communication networks. Basically in network layer you might have uh, studied that in networks, that your at network layer your message is in the form of data packets. Okay, so at network layer algorithm decides, programs they decide, operating system decides that how to route those packets, because message has been divided in the form of packets. At data link layer we divide that in data frame format. At network layer when it comes, then we have packets. So these packets they are sent through the nodes at the destination node, and again recollected at destination node. The original message is reconstructed by collecting those packets belonging to a particular message. So how to route those packets so that quickly that message can be sent to the destination node. So efficient routing of those packets on the network. Every packet has packet header. Okay, so you might be knowing all this. So how to route those? So routing algorithms are there. This ant colony optimization is again people they are trying to use successfully. There are papers, research papers. You if you find out, you will see that for such a problems, routing problems, this ant colony optimization algorithm can be used. But basically, you just understand that this ACO algorithm can be used for these problems, and you must know what are these problems. All these problems are complex problems. TSP problem is little bit easier. You can put it in easier form by considering few cities only. Therefore, I told you that try to implement this traveling salesman problem with this ACO as an assignment. So this is what this ant colony optimization is. Any question on ant colony optimization? So basically what is expected from you, ant colony optimization is a huge topic as such. It is expected that you should know the ants behavior then how to simulate that in the form of algorithm, general form of algorithm, that is Ant colony optimization algorithm. There are three major steps. One is how to define probability where that ant will move from node I to node J. How you are going to perform local trail update. How you are going to perform global trail update. Then application of this algorithm, implementation, because ultimately you will have to write a program. So think of mathematically solving this problem theoretically with pen and paper for TSP problem, then converting that in program is not a big deal. Easily that can be converted into the code. So this completes your unit 4, that is on randomized search algorithms. So any question? If there is no question, we will stop, and there are 10 minutes left. So we will continue our next unit, discussion on next unit in the next lecture, not now. But if there are doubts, we can now resolve those in 10 minutes time. If there is no doubt, then let us find out advantages and disadvantages. Actually, I was planning to give this for homework, but since there is a time, so in short we will go through that. Out here in ant colony optimization, you will find out there is an inherent parallelism. So therefore, if successfully you can use that, then very efficient algorithm. There is no central control, so it's fault tolerant. Positive feedback, that means pheromone trail, that is a positive feedback that accounts for rapid discovery of good solutions. So it converges faster, that means it converges fast, efficient for TSP problem or similar type of problems, and can be used in dynamic applications where there are changes, because this adapts to the changes. Okay, these are some of the advantages, and there are some disadvantages also. Since there are advantages, that its theoretical analysis is difficult. What is meaning of that? Analyzing that how efficient algorithm is, time complexity and all that space complexity parameters, because highly situation dependent algorithm, problem dependent, domain dependent algorithm. So as your problem will change, the parameters they will also change. There are a lot of random decisions that you are making. So sequence of random decisions. Okay. Probability distribution changes by iteration. Time to converge is uncertain. Therefore, the analysis is difficult actually. But the nice part is the convergence is guaranteed. You will get the solution. The research is at experimental stage rather than theoretical. This is another problem with this ant colony optimization, that it is almost experimental kind of implementation. So there is no specific, you will find out that set of steps that you have to apply for a given problem domain. So with experimental basis, you will have to tune the parameters of this algorithm. Okay, so this is these are some of the disadvantages. Now, if some of the students may be interested in what is happening right now in ant colony optimization area. This is one of the active research area, ant colony optimization. So therefore, you will find out this has not been covered much in your textbook. There are research papers from which you will get literature, or In Deepak Khemani's book, this has been discussed, algorithm and colony optimization, but not many textbooks they discuss this and colony optimization. So there are two references you can use for study. One is our usual Deepak Khemani's book, Artificial Intelligence by Deepak Khemani, and second reference is this particular paper by Sapna Katiyar, Abraham, Abdul, Ansari, and colony optimization, a tutorial review. It's a conference paper presented in 2015. This paper you can use for reference along with our book Deepak Khemani's Artificial Intelligence book. So if you go through the research papers, you will find out the areas where this algorithm has been used, people they are using for solving dynamic problems in which the instance data such as objective function values, decision parameters, constraints, they may change, because algorithm nicely suited for such a change, it adopts. Then certain set of stochastic problems where there is uncertainty, which has probabilistic information about objective function values, decision variable values, constraint boundaries due to uncertainty, noise and approximation. So such a problems comes under category stochastic problems. Third category of problem, multiple objective problems, in which there are multiple objective functions that evaluates to completing criteria of solution quality. Okay, so in literature we will find out for such a three types of problems, people they have been experimenting this and colony optimization. Of course, along with problems like routing from our interest in computer science, routing type of problems in computer networks. Active research directions in ACO includes the effective parallel implementation of ACO algorithms at more theoretical level, understanding and characterization of behavior of ACO algorithms while applying it to the proposed system. Okay. So these are the research areas where this art colony optimization algorithm has been experimented, or people they have been experimenting. So this completes the topic and colony optimization, and this is the reference. This tutorial paper you can use, conference paper, or refer our Deepak Khemani's book. So we will stop here and we will continue with our discussion on, there is a unit number 5 where we are going to discuss problem decomposition. Problem decomposition, one specific area of set of problems, how to solve those problems by using AI technique. So we will meet again next week in our next lecture. Thank you. Good day.